Greeting, denizens of the Imperium of Mankind. My name is Kit, and this is Chicago Reacts. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way you're made aware when we upload new content onto our YouTube channel. And today we got ourselves a fun video to react to. One with the approval of the God Emperor of Mankind. Our Warhammer 40k Space Marines possible in real life. Surgeon explains Astartes creation process. So, my friends, we're finally here. We're finally here. Modern science will eventually give rise to the Space Marines. Now, for all the videos that we react to before we get started with this video, the original link is in the description box below, and I once again humbly urge all of you to please be sure to support the original content creators. That original link is in the description box below, and by supporting the original content creators, you're helping them out because, and I say this again repeatedly, a lot of time and effort is made into making these videos for us to react to. And if this is the kind of content you guys like us to react to, please offer suggestions in the comment section below. Check out our Discord. But again, it's also important for you to support the original content creators. So without further ado, since I'm in charge of the ones and the twos, let's get ready to play this video and find out our Warhammer 40k Space Marines possible in real life. Surgeon explains Astartes creation process by Dr. Chris Raynor, not Jim Raynor, not your everyday ortho. So let's go ahead and play this video in a 3, a 2, a 1.
How close can we get to turning a normal human into a Space Marine from Warhammer 40k in the year 2022?
They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves to me.
Buckle up, interns. This video is going to be a doozy, and in part 1, we will cover the reproduction, gene modification, and implantation aspects of the Space Marine creation process. In part 2, to be released in a couple weeks from now, we'll assess each of their 19 freaking organs and look for modern alternatives. In the Warhammer 40k universe, the Space Marines, also known as Astartes, are superhuman super monks who fight to protect the Imperium of Man.
They are also the Knights of the Imperium. They are also glorious Marines. They are champions of humanity. Sir, you must add more glorified names immediately, or your name might be added to the Inquisition. Tyranids! Yes!
This is my last resort.
They wear mechanized suits of armor and have modified genomes that grant them superhuman strength and endurance. Today we're going to take a critical look at their creation process to determine how close modern medicine is to the all-powerful Space Marines. After a grueling selection process, successful Space Marine candidates receive 19 unique organ implants that significantly alter their biology. Yes, I did say 19, as in the number before 20. That is a lot of surgery. The implants are introduced in phases between the ages of 10 and 16 years old.
Like clay, I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them.
This whole process revolves around the gene seed, which is a term used amongst the Astartes for the genetic material that allows for the creation of the requisite organ implants and their progenoid glands.
Okay, so, you know, I was kind of looking at this video just with a little bit of fun entertainment, but now I'm kind of curious because there's 2 other videos following after this. So if you want us to react to that or check it out, please type your response in the comment section below. I'd like to hear it. And dare I say it, would you volunteer to become a glorious warrior, a Space Marine for our God Emperor of Mankind? Type yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Say that 10 times fast. The progenoid glands are of vital importance, and every Marine has 2 of them, implanted into the neck and chest. These organs respond hormonally to the presence of the other Astartes gene seed implants in Space Marines' bodies by creating germ cells with DNA identical to that of those implants. Are you still following me?
Barely.
Inside
Barely. Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with that too. Yeah, no, barely, man. Holy cow. Dropping a whole lot of science and knowledge on us.
the progenoid glands, the germ cells for the 19 gene seed organs grow in a process similar to cellular mitosis, which is a type of cell division in which one cell, the mother, divides to produce two new cells, the daughters, that are both genetically identical to themselves, both carrying the DNA of the mother cell. These germ cells are stored like sperm or egg cells are stored in the testes and the ovaries of normal men and women. After a number of years, the germ cells can be harvested and then grown in vitro, which means in a lab, into the necessary organs by apothecaries of a Space Marine chapter.
A single apothecary would slaughter his way through thousands of enemies just to transfuse the last few drops of blood he has into one of his brothers.
The progenoid gland in the neck reaches maturity.
Shout out to the apothecaries. You know, in the recent, there's a novel, a Warhammer 40k novel, or I think our short story that came out, starring Helbrecht of the Black Templar. And the Emperor's champion with him is a former apothecary, which I found interesting. The Emperor's champion in the Black Templar is a former apothecary. Fascinating.
Maturity after 5 years and the one in the chest after 10. Sometimes the neck progenoid is harvested preemptively as the procedure is easy and relatively safe, while the gland located in the chest is typically harvested only after a Space Marine has died. Once the progenoid and the germ cells within have been harvested, the process is ready to begin again. This is literally how they reproduce.
We'll also go over if it's physically possible for a 10-foot tall demigod to fit his proportionally huge schlong inside.
Though it should be noted
That was Major Kill. That was Major Kill, who has done a lot of great work, and his channel has been growing exponentially. Shout out to him. He's really added a lot of humor to the Warhammer 40k universe and his own perspective and knowledge as well. So there you go. Please support all the Warhammer 40k videos out there. They're doing a lot. I love the community. may it last strong. And maybe it's a different side note. Maybe I'm going a little bit off topic here, but Warhammer 40k community, we cannot let what happened to Star Wars happen to Warhammer 40k. We cannot. We cannot. I saw a video, a 5-minute video, My Little Dark Age, with Star Wars, comparing it to Disney, to the Legends universe. My heart cried a little.
Noted that the DNA passed on will be that of their Primarch, not their own. The Primarchs are essentially the first versions of each Marine chapter, genetically engineered immortal superhumans that the Astartes are modeled after. And outside the scope of today's video. See you later.
I can't, sorry, I've got a lot on my plate.
Before we can consider the implantation procedures or the feasibility and the function of the individual organs, we need to talk about the reproduction process. It sounds like a wild combination of an in vitro fertilization and 3D organ printing that to some extent is conceivable with current technology today. In vitro fertilization demonstrates that it is possible to extract cells, combine or alter them to create a new biological entity, and then implant them back into a human body where they continue to grow and develop. To oversimplify, during in vitro fertilization, mature eggs are collected or retrieved from ovaries and then fertilized by sperm in a lab, and the fertilized egg, or the embryo, is transferred into the uterus. With Space Marines, the fertilized embryo is like the gene seed organs, whose DNA grows or germinates within the progenoid gland before it is removed and cultured into full-sized organs in vitro. The recipient uterus is the new Space Marine recruit. I am the uterus! In vitro fertilization, during the in vitro portion, meaning the portion performed or taking place in a test tube culture dish, or elsewhere outside a living organism, we are not combining two types of readily compatible cells, a sperm and an egg cell. We are attempting to grow organs from germ cells containing their DNA. This is where 3D organ printing and pluripotent stem cells come into play. Pluripotent stem cells are the biological building blocks that are able to self-renew by dividing and developing into the three primary groups of cells that make up a human body, including the ectoderm, which forms the skin and the nervous system, the endoderm, which forms the gastrointestinal and respiratory tracts, endocrine glands, liver and pancreas, and finally, the mesoderm, which forms the bone, cartilage, and most of the circulatory system, the muscles, connective tissue, and more. Typically,
I'm going to keep my pausing to a minimum now because, you know, I definitely want to let him explain more because all of this is brand new to me. I'm getting a whole bunch of knowledge put on me. I'm going to leave my comments maybe at the end of the video. I will pause here and there, but I want to make sure that he explains things thoroughly and not cut things off. But my goodness, we're on a journey here. We might be able to make some Ultramarines, some Black Templar, Flesh Terrors, Imperial Fists, Salamanders. Let's see, who else we got here? There's a whole, I'm kind of naming my personal favorites. The Dark Angels. The Dark Angels, yes, the Dark Angels. Let's see. Oh, hey, why not? What? Here's a random Space Marine chapter. The Black Dragons. There we go. The ones who got the bones come out of their hands.
these cells transform and specialize in the uterus of a pregnant woman. But in 3D printing, they are cultured, which is a process by which cells are grown under controlled conditions until they specialize into heart or liver cells, for example. The cultured cells are then combined with gelatin, collagen, or another natural or synthetic polymer, selected for its biocompatible components and favorable rheological properties. Bio-ink can be used to fabricate multicellular structures that imitate native tissues when applied to a biocompatible scaffold. A biocompatible scaffold is a three-dimensional porous, fibrous, or permeable structure formed from natural polymers such as gelatin, chitosan, collagen, chondroitin sulfate, and hyaluronic acid. It is intended to permit transport of body liquids and gases, promote cell interaction, viability.
Wait, we could do this now? I mean, I know we could do some crazy things, but I didn't know we could do all this. Holy cow. Oh my God. That's incredible.
And extracellular matrix or ECM accumulation with minimum inflammation and toxicity while biodegrading at a certain controlled rate. Doctors,
yep, that's me,
would create a biocompatible scaffold for each of the 19 gene seed organs, then populate the scaffold with bio-ink derived from stem cells, or germ cells carrying Primark DNA and a gelatin-like substance. Within the scaffold, the cells then need to multiply, further specializing into the correct types of cell, and assemble themselves in the right proportions and positions to emulate the 3D structure and cellular interactions present in the real organ. The application of bio-ink is repeated until the desired organ's tissue is created. So far, so good. Actually,
wow.
Wait. I think modern science has hit a snag here.
I didn't start out, and no one starts out as a flat earther, but I had a lot of questions.
We have had
The earth is round, folks. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, folks. Look, a long time ago, it wasn't too long, but I'm going to be kind with my words here, challenged individual made their own homemade rocket to see if the planet was flat. And this individual, who's very challenged, got in their rocket with a crowd of people watching, eating snacks, having tasty beverage, saw his rocket go up, 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 and then go crashing down, and he died. Yeah, that happened. You want go ahead. You got the Library of Alexandria at your fingertips right here. That's what I call cell phones. You know. So go ahead and have at it. You'll see the disturbing video, but check it out after this video.
Astounding, but limited success growing functional organs from scratch, let alone transplanting them into patients. In 2018, a team at the University of Newcastle printed the first human corneas, while a group at Tel Aviv University produced a miniature heart by printing with human tissue from a cardiac patient. Scientists at Michigan State University have since taken that a step further by printing a mini human heart using a stem cell framework that imitates the environment in which a fetus develops, allowing for the creation of all the cell types and intricate structures necessary for a functioning heart.
And so you've got your heart, which means there's a father of 3 in Nebraska who now has a very little chance of receiving one.
In 2020, researchers at the University of Cambridge rebuilt a whole working human thymus for the very first time. The thymus is an immune organ which plays a role in transplant rejection, and so the successful generation of a functional thymus has hopeful implications for transplantation in the future.
The thymus.
These
Hashtag we all love the thymus. Type in the comment section below how much you love your thymus. In fact, if you're watching this video right now, just randomly text somebody or call them up or talk to some random stranger and said, "Have you thanked your thymus lately?" No, wait, don't do that because that's going to probably backfire. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
are giant steps forward for modern medicine. But don't get me wrong, it's just a far cry from 19 organs, some much larger than the thymus, that we don't even possess the DNA for. Even Attila Redwan, the scientific officer for CellLink, the first company to commercialize bioink, is realistic about the limitations of the technology. Recreating the full function of an organ, the synchronicity of the heart's action, for example, or the filtration function of a kidney, is no easy thing. Redwan estimates it could be 10 to 15 years before fully functioning tissues and organs printed in this way may be transplanted into humans. We have, however, had greater success in growing smaller and less complicated organoids. Functional collections of tissues with similar properties to real organs, but much smaller in size. Typically, less than 5 millimeters. We must depend on future advances and research before real organs are a reality. So, in 15 or so years, we may have the capacity to reproduce and implant human organs. Not so fast. What about implanting organs with...
How dare you? How dare you? Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt when the Space Marine is praying.
A specific imagined function. Sure, some of the gene seed organs implanted into the Astartes are superhuman expansions of organs that already exist. A second heart or a third lung. But others have more imaginative custom functions like enabling the Astartes to spit blinding poison, or allowing them to read or absorb genetic material consumed by the Marine.
The 8th gene seed organ is the ophthalmophagia, which is by far the fucking weirdest. Basically, the omophagia allows a Space Marine to relive the memories of someone or something by consuming its flesh.
Yes, they could learn your memories by eating your brain.
Brain masala. Oh wow, all right. Just like Grandma used to make. Yeah, totally.
Who am I
Sounds delicious. Hannibal Lecter would love it.
kidding? Even the simplest implants endow the recipient with otherworldly power. Let's talk about that third lung that enables the Marine to breathe underwater and in atmospheres with low oxygen. That can also filter out poison gas. That's more than just an extra lung. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Since these organs are grown directly from the altered DNA of the parent primarchs, an advanced form of genome editing would have been deployed by the Emperor of Mankind and the scientists of the biotechnical division when they were created. Is it possible to create organs in this way? Bear in mind that all the cells within a complex multicellular organism, such as a human being, contain the same DNA, which acts like an instruction manual for our cells as they produce all the necessary tissues, organs, and systems. Thus, what the Emperor achieved was a complete expansion of the human genome to produce beings with 19 extra organs that, when combined with human DNA, yields Space Marines. Throws my brain for a freaking loop. To what degree is gene editing even possible?
Because the Emperor outsmarted and outplayed the Chaos Gods on Moloch. The Emperor, through living a life like a Highlander, was able to walk amongst humanity's best and brightest and expand his knowledge to create his glorious Astartes. That's how. Plus, the God Emperor willed it, so it shall be done. You don't need science to explain that, sir.
We have developed a group of technologies that allow genetic material to be added, removed, or altered at particular locations in the genome. A 2016 article in CSH Biology Journal cites 4 main technologies most commonly used to facilitate genome editing. Number 1, CRISPR-Cas9. Number 2, TALENs. Number 2, ZFNs. And number 4, homing endonucleases or meganucleases. But of these, CRISPR-Cas9, clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, CRISPR, CRISPR-associated protein, Cas9, is the most well-known, providing faster, cheaper, more accurate, and more efficient genome editing methods. This form of gene editing was ingeniously adapted from a natural process that occurs in bacteria to defend against viruses. Bacteria capture small pieces of DNA when a virus attacks, so that when the virus attacks again, they recognize it and can take defensive measures. The bacteria tag the virus with a segment of RNA, which guides a Cas9 enzyme to cut the DNA and disable the virus. In order to adapt this system to edit DNA, researchers create a small piece of guide RNA that attaches to a specific target sequence in a cell's DNA. Sound familiar? Then the Cas9 enzyme cuts the DNA at the target location, and researchers leverage the natural DNA repair processes to add or delete pieces of genetic material to make changes to the DNA by replacing existing segments with a customized DNA sequence. This process, or something like it, would have to be mastered over very long periods of experimentation, like say the 39,000 years between us and the world of Warhammer 40k. A 2021 AAMC article entitled The Future of CRISPR Is Now lists the current applications of the technology, which has been used to experiment with gene-edited mosquitoes to reduce the spread of malaria, engineering agriculture to withstand climate change, and in human clinical trials to treat a range of diseases, from cancer to transthyretin amyloidosis.
Can I have the definition, please? I beg of you, the definition.
A rare protein disorder that devastates nerves and organs. CRISPR technology has even been used in an unsanctioned manner to edit the genomes of a set of twins in China prior to birth to make them immune to HIV infection.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Gene editing experiments in humans are—
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, geez, science, you're a step ahead. Maybe even though while the world is going upside down, perhaps the God Emperor of mankind is truly walking amongst us.
Are slow going and our progress is meticulous and careful. There are obvious ethical concerns, and previous work using CRISPR in mouse embryos and other kinds of human cells have demonstrated that editing chromosomes can cause large unwanted effects.
Oh God. Oh God. Why did you play the Meat Canyon video? Why? Why?
Ominous. And since the DNA is the guide for procreation, these unwanted effects can be passed down to future generations. Regardless, a quick look at the successes of CRISPR-Cas9 in other more liberal areas hints at its potential. To date, CRISPR-Cas9 mediated genome editing has been reported in 41 food crop species, 15 industrial crops, 6 oil crops, 8 ornamental crops, 1 fiber crop, and feed crop, and has been used to optimize many variables such as shape, size, shelf life, flavor, biofortification of micro and macronutrients, among other achievements. Yes, in 2022, our crops are basically space marines, and they have demonstrated that many aspects of an organism can be modified.
And the thing is, humanity's been modifying crops and livestock for years. I mean, modern day cattle is related to the great, I think it's called the Arlok or the Artox. It's like a prehistoric bison, right? Same thing like with, if you look at watermelon, in fact, if you look at old medieval paintings of watermelon or other fruits, they look drastically different, even though they look a little bit similar, but drastically different to what we have now today. And, you know, it's something else to point out, you know, because I'm actually growing tomatoes. But I've always noticed this, that there's a big difference between a tomato that you grow versus a tomato that you buy at the store. Just, it's interesting. It's interesting. We live in a crazy world.
That still doesn't explain the extra organs. There is evidence to suggest that new organs evolved over time by repurposing existing tissue within an organism. Then, over time, these organs can evolve new structures and new functions that radically change the attributes and the abilities of an animal. An individual animal doesn't all of a sudden have an organ that's never been there before. These genetic changes are small and gradual, accumulating until a complex biological structure arrives. To give you an idea how fast these changes occur, we'll take a quick trip to Tibet, where a lightning-fast evolutionary change has occurred over the last 3,000 years.
Whoa!
That's fast by evolutionary standards. A rapid surge in frequency of a mutated gene that increases blood oxygen content gives locals a survival chance in higher altitudes, resulting in more surviving children. Still, 3,000 years and no new organ? ¿Qué pasa? One way to speed up the evolutionary process is to place organisms in challenging conditions wherein they must achieve a specific goal in order to survive.
The rock that was used to build this dam contains essential minerals, minerals rich in the calcium that these animals need to stay strong.
Adapt or die is a really powerful motivator. But with 19 organs...
You know, mountain goats, they just really freak me out because I don't know how the hell they're able to do that. I mean, you see some photos on the internet or even videos on the internet of these goats just somehow defying gravity. And, you know, sometimes they look at the camera and they're just staring at the camera like, what? What are you looking at? I'm working here. Get out of here.
To develop, the organisms would suffer a lot of hardship over a very long period of time. Maybe between now and the year 40K, with extreme conditioning and experimental use of gene editing technologies, we can make some headway. Okay, you know what? Let's just imagine that the Emperor of Mankind is a real being, and that he has transferred his DNA into 20 Primarchs.
Imagine, he is real. And second of all, 20 Primarchs? Excuse me, sir. You do mean 18, or wait, I'm sorry, you mean there's 21. I mean, no, there's 20. I mean, no, there's 18. I mean, no, there are nine loyalist Space Marines. Space Marine chapters. Primarchs, yes. There aren't, you know, traitorous ones that would betray the Emperor. And plus 20? 21? No, get out of here. Get out of here. No, we... Inquisition, do not come after me.
And that we've mastered 3D printing so that making organs is as easy as baking a cake.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Needs to hire me to make their airplane food.
Would the requisite surgery kill a normal human being?
Not if they're blessed with the Emperor.
It should be noted that the implantation process lasts between 4 to 6 years and takes place over many phases. Some of the surgeries involved are performed without anesthesia, and the recruits are required to be awake and in pain during the process.
Okay, just relax. Let's see. First, why don't you attach that green one to that purple one?
Why would that even be a thing? I don't know.
Oh, God. That kill me? Yeah, I was afraid of that. Try the green one.
Today, we have many different forms of regional anesthesia that allow you to be awake and without pain while surgery is being performed. Believe it or not, surgery performed without anesthesia is actually possible. Modern anesthesia was invented in 1846 by William T.G. Morton, sometime after the invention of surgery. Morton was a dentist who was looking to provide a better agent for dental procedures than nitrous oxide. You know, laughing gas.
You sure my bottom's up here? Your bottom lip is there, I promise. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure.
He teamed with surgeon John Collins Warren to provide anesthesia with ether during a surgical procedure for the very first time in history. In a Reddit thread on the topic of the Space Marines, there is a suggestion that some surgeries were performed on Space Marines without anesthesia intentionally. One poster writes that some surgeries were performed without anesthesia and without proper sterility as a trial to determine if the neophytes' mental fortitude and their immune function were adequately developed.
I accept these burdens as the Imperium bleeds.
Yes, glorious.
Peace. Talk about tough love, yo. Singular organ and tissue transfers are pretty successful with current technology. The greatest danger is tissue rejection, which occurs because the immune system is able to recognize transplants as foreign to the body. Normally, foreign entities are seen as threats, and in the cases of viruses, bacteria, or parasites, this is a good thing. But when you're sporting a new heart and your body thinks it's a virus, well then, that can be a problem. Luckily, new medications are continually being developed to reduce the risk of transplant rejection. An article released in 2020 reported rejection in as little as 10 to 15% of transplant patients, and a 1-year transplanted organ survival rate of 95%. Pretty good odds, especially when your life depends on it. It's just that when you're going to undergo 19 consecutive transplant surgeries, that risk begins to accumulate, no matter how hardy you are. In 2020, a Cleveland clinic profiled a man who had received 4 transplanted organs, both lungs in 2016, his liver and kidney in 2020, who actually lived to tell the tale. His case is a special one.
Wow.
This type of thing does not happen often. It takes the body a long time to recover, approximately 6 months after a transplant surgery. And the level of recovery depends on the many lifestyle factors of the patient. Now, I know this is a medical channel, but let's do some math for a moment. 19 organs in 6 years. Okay, I'm exaggerating. 19 organs in 6 to 8 years, some of which can be implanted simultaneously.
What you accomplish in any given day and what you end up accomplishing in your life, it all ultimately comes down to time management.
That's right. Thank you, blonde-haired woman.
Modest timeline in the hardiest of recruits would look something like this. Age 10, phase 1 to 3. Age 12, phases 4 to 5, age 14, phases 7 through 9, and then separately 10 through 11, age 15, phase 12 to 13, age 16, phases 14 to 15, age 17, phase 16 to 18, and age 18, phase 19. And while none of these organs are replacements, they are still foreign tissues that run the risk of rejection and surgical operations that would require the body to adapt and recover, all while training your body and mind to superhuman standards.
Yes.
To say that the teenage years of a Space Marine trainee would be positively hellish.
Go ahead, wipe your little eyes. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I forgot those Scared Straight TV shows where like they take these bad kids and he's taken to jail. Oh, I'm gonna watch some of those when I get done. That's funny. I forgot. See, that's the great thing about getting old. Sometimes everything's brand new to you all over again.
A human to defend against creatures like this.
Yes.
During the creation process, the Space Marine and their implants must be constantly monitored, and many Marines have to undergo corrective surgery or chemotherapy to rebalance their metabolism, added to the list of fun things a Marine recruit must endure. Now, I plan to do another video breaking down each individual organ and modern solutions for elements that are currently beyond our science, so leave a like in this video if you're looking forward to that. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. If you didn't, be sure to let me know why in the comments. And as always, that's been a word from Dr. Chris, where we see one, do one, teach one.
There you go. All right. Well, we learned something here today. We learned that, dare I say it, it is somewhat feasible for some variation of a Space Marine to come into existence. I urge this to all of the people who watch our YouTube channel to please, and I really insist on this one now, to go ahead and subscribe to Dr. Chris Rayner's channel right away. I mean, this is a fantastic video, so we encourage everyone to please support the original content creators. Throw a like and a subscription for him, because obviously a lot of work and editing and research was made into making this video. And if all of you want us to react to maybe the follow-up videos, give us your feedback. The only way we could do good content for all of you lovely people is if you tell us. And this video was recommended, yes, because we do get recommendations for me to react to. And I have to say, 10 out of 10, life-changing Imperial, glorious Imperial video. So give us your feedback, give us your thoughts. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for our YouTube channel as well. Come on, be sure to do that. I want all of you hip, cool cats to keep on winning. And Forces of Chaos, Tyranids, Necrons, Orcs, Tau, Eldar, Dark Eldar, and anyone else that stands against the Imperium, the Space Marines are coming. You are not ready. You are not prepared. The Emperor protects. Peace.